Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the We're Only Sing When We're Winning podcast, a collection of guys that think they know something about football, trying to talk something about football. Can't do this all on my own though, so I have the usual 3 reprobates with me. First of all, we have a man who's more chicken than Colonel Sanders, Josh Hockley still. Good evening, sir. We've got the essential worker, Gareth Hardman.
Yes.
And the master of mayhem himself, Mr. Martin Gray.
Evening, guys.
How are we?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Day off today, so been pretty relaxed, pretty chilled.
Right, well, let's crack on then, because we don't have much time, as Martin has a prior engagement, I think.
With his stomach.
Yeah, with his stomach. Yes, you can tell what time of day we record these things.
I mean, knowing him as well as we do, he's not going to miss that.
No. Well, he's been a bit sick this week with red wine-itis, so...
Hilarious.
You didn't deny it. So there are 2 big things, 2 big pieces of news that have come out today as we record this on Wednesday. And the first one, there is going to be football this weekend that isn't in Belarus. The South Korean League, the K-League, is coming back. And the first game is actually being streamed live on Twitter and YouTube. So I know I've retweeted that. I'll make sure that our account retweets it as well. But you can get yourself some sort of mid-late morning football.
Excellent. Be like 2002 all over again.
It'll be like 2002 all over again, yes. Second big piece of news, arguably the bigger piece of news, is that the German Bundesliga is coming back at the end of May.
Yes.
What do we think?
I cannot wait.
Can't wait.
I can't wait. Just some kind of football. You know, I read that article about playing football, but equally I miss watching football. So I'm gonna go for Mönchengladbach if you a couple of years ago, so hopefully Sky will be streaming some of the games.
BT do Germany. They certainly did last time I looked, but I don't know how it is nowadays.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating actually, because I've got Sky and not BT, and when I first got Sky, they had an awful lot of European football, and it's very much gone downhill in the last few years.
Well, I remember when BT first relaunched, they had Germany, Italy, and France as their main leagues, and then it was 11 Sports just bought them all from them or something. Frustratingly, though, I've got BT but not Sky, which means that I like watching the MLS, and I can't watch that because that's all on Sky, and all of the highlights get geo-blocked on YouTube because Sky have got this exclusive agreement. So, you're right.
I've got neither Sky nor BT.
Well, you don't get any of it then.
No, don't get any of it. I'll be following from afar like usual.
Well, that leads me into the first little mini game I've got for you guys tonight. I saw this on Twitter earlier, and it's a little bit outdated, but we'll roll with it anyway. But it is the which Bundesliga club should you support flowchart. So I ask you a series of questions, and you answer yes or no, and I tell you who you should be supporting when the Bundesliga resumes. Would you like to play?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, Gareth, you can go first then because you sound the most enthusiastic. All of these are yes-no questions with the exception of the first one where you can also answer with sometimes, okay?
Okay, all right.
So, Gareth, you're an Everton fan, so try and kind of keep that head on. So first of all, are you interested in winning?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay.
Take a draw at the big clubs any day of the week.
Yep. Okay, second question. Are you a corporate lackey?
No.
No, okay.
Far too northern for that.
So again, this kind of goes back to your Everton roots as well. Third question, it's the 60th minute and you're a goal down. Do you head to your luxury car?
No.
No, okay. Fourth question, are you insufferably arrogant on the account of achievements in the distant past?
Absolutely, yes.
So you should be supporting Hamburg.
Oh, excellent.
No,
as a vegetarian, that is particularly appropriate.
There is a nice irony to
that. I'm also going to say I would have given all 4 of the same answers as Gareth, so there's not much point me doing it.
Well, you'll just have to pretend.
Josh, get your own club.
Well, Josh, let's play it with you now. Then try and come up with some different answers. So, first question: are you interested in winning? You're an Exeter City fan, so
no.
No, okay. Does losing valiantly give you pride?
Yes.
Do you wear socks in your sandals?
No.
So you should be supporting Augsburg.
Can I just confirm that's a lie? I've seen him wearing socks and sandals.
I'd be surprised. I don't tend to wear sandals.
I've seen you on a beach.
So I think Augsburg are still in the Bundesliga, aren't they, Martin? But they are just like challenging, or they're flirting with relegation as they seem to do every season.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Augsburg I know. Okay, Martin, your turn. Are you interested in winning? You're a Nottingham Forest fan, so you probably are.
Absolutely.
Would you sacrifice all morals in the pursuit of victory?
Yes.
You're a Bayern Munich fan. Okay, so
Great.
there we go. Right, so I should probably play this myself, actually, shouldn't I, just for the sake of completion? So I'm a West Bromwich Albion fan. Am I interested in winning? No. Does losing valiantly give me pride? No. Does drinking beer in silly costumes sound much more appealing than actually watching the football? Yes. Is my life a chaotic mess?
Yes.
No comment.
My partner's in the flat at the moment, so I'm going to say no, and that means that I'm a Mainz fan, and I can take that. So, I think that was pretty straightforward, actually. We are looking forward. So I think it's both the Bundesliga and the second division that are coming back, isn't it? From what I've read. So we could get some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the next FM game, except Martin's going to get all the money.
That sounds great. Instead of Josh for once.
Oh, well, that's very true. That's very true. So, no, Martin, was it 2 years ago, Martin and I, we went to Germany for that weekend?
Yeah, amazing weekend.
We went to Mönchengladbach, and yeah, it was definitely. And the thing is as well, especially if you're going from the UK, Ryanair flights are so cheap that we got a return flight for about 50 quid. In fact, I think it actually cost more to park the car at the airport than it did to get on the flight to and from itself.
Wasn't there that research done the other year which found that it was cheaper to have a season ticket at Bayern Munich than Arsenal, including flights from London to Munich?
That sounds about right, yes.
Yeah.
So, no, I always hear so many positive things about German football, and I think once we're all allowed out of the house again, that's something that definitely needs to be a bit more of happening.
Yeah.
Right, let's rewind a bit. I know it's usually Throwback Thursday and it's only a Wednesday, but this might go out on Friday, so I might be able to call this a Flashback Friday segment. Mid-2000s, boys, it's kind of when most of us got into football properly. I know Josh had a bit of a head start, but that's because he's the oldest.
I'm the tallest.
I'm the tallest. So, mid-2000s football, what do you remember? Talk to me. Everton had debatable sponsorship. Martin was still a Man United fan.
Oh, God, yeah.
My team were going up and down pretty much every season at this point, apart from the Great Escape season.
Boing, boing. I know where this segment's going to lead, so I'm going to start this off with remembering the time when the Everton, sponsored by Keijan, bought 2 Chinese players.
They did.
On the back of the 2002 World Cup. Nice little plug for your blog there, Charlie. China qualified for their first ever World Cup in 2002, and it was their last one today.
Yeah, first and only.
First and only, yeah. And they had in their midfield a general known as Li Tie, and in their defence, not so good, a defender known as Li Weifeng, who Everton decided both of them were going to come across on loan. One of them we signed permanently, one of them we didn't. I did some research on Li Tie after we mentioned him the other week. We signed him permanently and he only played 4 more games for us.
4?
Yeah, he played a lot on loan, and then when we signed him, he got injury after injury after injury. So I'd kind of forgotten that.
That really doesn't tally with my memory of the time, because I remember him being at Everton for a long time. I would have imagined he would have played well over 100 games, but
nowhere near.
Memory can be.
He played. What I read about it was when we had him on loan, he did really well for us, and then it just kind of went a bit downhill.
Here's a trivia question for you. Who is China's top scorer at the World Cup?
Oh, jeez.
Are we talking men's here?
Yes, men's. Yes. I don't have the women's stats. Sorry.
I mean, the women's actually have a much better record than the men. China had quite a good women's team in the 1990s. Just a bit of trivia for you there.
Yeah, they still do, I think. They're certainly one of the top teams in Asia. Them and North Korea, surprisingly.
North Korea?
Well, I say surprisingly. I mean, in comparison to the men's teams.
Is this a trick question? They didn't score at the World Cup. It was an own goal.
It is a trick question. No, they didn't even score. They'd had no goals registered to their name. It is a trick question. Yes. China have never scored a World Cup goal.
I had a feeling they hadn't. They were drawn in a group with Oh, Brazil, was it?
They had Brazil, Costa Rica, and who was the other team in that group? It was Group C. Oh, that's gonna bug me now.
And Crystal Palace, I think, got one of that team as well. Was it Fan? I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Fan Shuai or someone
It was
like
something
that.
like that. Fan Ji, and then there was Sun Ji Hai that played for Man City as well. Man City, and then I think he went to Sheffield United.
So some of them they did come over to European football quite a bit then.
Well, there was a Chinese striker for Man United as well, wasn't there? Was it Dong Fangzhou played for them as well?
But then he seemed to be one that was signed mostly for shirt sales. I don't think he ended up playing for them much.
He played very few games. It's one of those where you look through the history of Royal Antwerp and find that he was sent there on a year-long loan or something. The amount of former Man United players that went there on loan because it was the feeder club in Belgium, so they could get around the work permit rules.
I mean, fascinatingly, I think if we look back through the early 2000s and mid 2000s, we'd find a lot of awful Man United players.
Should we
their transfer record wasn't that brilliant.
It's funny that you should say that because I watched last weekend Man United Exeter in the FA Cup 2005, and United put a few of their reserves out.
Chris Eagles
on the wing. In central midfield, they had Jemba, David Jones.
Oh, I don't know David Jones.
I think he was at Derby and Burnley for a bit, if I've got that right.
And now he's at the bottom of the sea.
Hey.
And talk amongst yourselves while I remember who the third one was. But up front, It was David Bellion.
He always comes up on, you occasionally see these articles of like the 10 worst Man United signings, and Bellion's always near the top of that.
Yeah.
Those articles are aimed at you, aren't they, Charlie?
Well, it's always like, the game I like to play is how many of these can I name before I even open up the article? Because it's always going to be Kleberson, Jemba, Bellion, Bebe, Massimo Taibi. There's 5 out of the 10 usually already.
The third one was Liam Miller.
See, there we go. We talked amongst ourselves successfully.
Yeah, he went to Celtic after that, didn't he?
And he died, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I had that in my head, and I didn't want to say it in case I was horribly wrong.
Josh doesn't care about that. He'll just say whatever
let him
comes
take
in.
the fall on that. Because Man United went through that phase of signing some really weird players. They signed Manuccio. Remember that Angolan striker that played at the World Cup in Germany? And they signed him from like Olympiacos or something, and he played about 3 times, and no one ever heard of him again.
They do that. United do it all the time.
It might be a bit past our point, but does anyone remember Makeda?
Goal against Aston Villa, wasn't it?
Was it Villa?
Winning goal.
Birmingham?
It was Villa.
Was it Villa? Because it was like an absolute rocket ship on his debut.
Apparently, he's doing quite well now. I did read about him the other day, but I think it's in the Greek league. That's all I'll say for now. Let me look it up.
I thought he'd gone back to Italy. I'm looking.
Panathinaikos.
There
we go.
He had half a season at Forest when Fawaz was at his work. Yeah, I don't think he scored a goal, but
I tell you what, when you look at it, and this is going to be an upcoming thing we'll talk about later, but that sort of Forest team at around sort of 2010, 2011, which is technically in range of what we're talking about here. Some of the names they had, like Konchesky and Ramsey and that kind of. I remember Martin and we went to a game on a Tuesday night. I think it was against Burnley or something. And suddenly Aaron Ramsey's rocked up in the midfield and he's on his way back from injury. I was like, what is going on?
Forest had a habit of doing that. They'd sign the weirdest players on loan for half a season. Yeah.
Chris Boyd, I think I've got a matchday programme with Chris Boyd's face on it.
Yeah.
Come on, Martin, you've been quiet. Come on, tell us about some of the strangest Forest transfers you've seen. We'll go into the 2010s now. We'll kind of stretch this on a bit, but
Kevin Gomez has got to be up there. He was something else.
What, in a good way, or
signed by Fawaz, basically. Well, most signings that you can talk about for Forest as being ridiculous signings were made by that clown. At the same time, I think it was the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but he brought in Rafik Jabor.
And Danny Fox.
Danny Fox. I mean, Jabor, I'm not sure what happened to him because he was scoring goals for Algeria before he came to Forest. And then
we'll always have that tapping against Yeovil.
Oh, yeah, the tapping.
Was he the one who took the penalty and missed it when I went to see them against QPR?
That was Abdoon, I think.
Abdoon. You see.
Now that was a strange signing, but I only saw him play on, because I wasn't living in Nottingham by then, but I saw him play on 2 or 3 occasions, and every time I saw him, he was the best player on the pitch. He was absolutely outstanding, but you look at his record as a whole, and it doesn't seem like he was that successful. So I don't know what went wrong the rest of the time.
There's another point of discussion. Players that we remember being quite good, but when you look back at their stats, doesn't actually record.
The one name springs to mind, and this is from Football Manager. Be the next huge thing. My very first memory of Football Manager, Freddie Adu.
Freddie Adu.
He was always going to be mentioned.
He's had more football clubs than Martin's had hot dinners. Seriously, he has. If you look, his club history has a Wikipedia article all of its own because it's just that big. He's played in no word of lie. He's played in about 7 or 8 different countries. He played for the Las Vegas Lights as well, and they've got one of the best home shirts in world football. It's brilliant.
It's one of those where it probably didn't do the lad much favours to come to prominence as young as he did, because when you're 13 and you're incredibly famous, it might not have been the best thing for him.
No, definitely not. He got rushed into that.
Absolutely.
Without a shadow of a doubt. But and it's a shame because he's like in his late 20s now and could still be a decent footballer. But I remember reading like the motivation just went. Yeah, he's really not that old at all.
When we talk about motivation going, I feel Lewis McGugan has to get a mention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely up there with the most talented players I've seen at Forest over 20 years. He was, on his day, absolutely unbeatable. And if anyone's not seen that 40-yard free kick he scored against Ipswich, then it's worth a watch on YouTube. But again, he's one of those where, could have played for England, but you look at his record after he left Forest, it's pretty lacklustre.
Hang on a minute. While we're talking about Josh recommending players for England, does anyone remember the time when he suggested Patrick Bamford should be going to the World Cup?
In 2010, yes, do you remember that? We dragged that one out very regularly. Not as regularly as we should.
No, every time.
2010 World Cup squad. But then having said that, there was precedent for that when Walcott went in Germany in 2006 without having ever been captain.
Although around that time, I was also saying to much derision that Gareth Southgate was a future England manager.
That's a fair point. I'll give you that one. That is a fair point.
I think it's 1-1 really.
If you throw 100 pebbles into the water, one of them's going to skim.
One of them is going to skim. Actually, leading on then, because that makes me think about, because Southgate was Middlesbrough manager at one point, and it makes me think, I was thinking more about Bolton, but Middlesbrough as well, when they just had like Juninho and Mendieta in their midfield.
Amazing.
You're thinking, hang on a minute, this is Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough had some strange signings.
Well, Bolton were the best one because they had Hierro, Campo, Djorkaeff and Okocha in the same team in the early 2000s as well. You're just thinking, hang on a minute, this is Bolton.
It's managed by Big Sam as well.
Yeah.
That's not the manager you'd have in charge of those lot.
No.
And then the best bit about that Bolton team was you had all those superstars in midfield, and then up front, Kevin Davis.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Davis.
Yeah, Kevin Davis and Michael Ricketts.
They got Almander at some point as well, didn't they?
They had Elmander. They had Borghetti. Jared Borghetti, who played up front for Mexico in the World Cup.
There's another club that I think we could find pretty obscure one was Manchester City before the Sheikhs came in.
Before the shake-up.
Yeah, because you've got, off the top of my head, Elano.
Yeah.
Stephen Ireland was there for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another.
There were
loads of them.
Michael Johnson. I think you had Sven on the bench as well. I keep thinking that was some sort of fever dream, but it wasn't. Sven was actually on the bench for Man City.
At a time when nobody had ever heard of them, their 2 keepers were Joe Hart and Kasper Schmeichel.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Kasper Schmeichel played for Coventry City. Remember seeing him playing in goal for Coventry.
Joe Hart played for Shrewsbury.
Yeah, he started there, didn't he? Then he went to.
He did.
Did he go to Birmingham and then City, or did he just go to Birmingham on loan? I can't remember.
I thought he was signed by City, but I might be wrong.
Speaking of Birmingham City in the early 2000s, had Christophe Dugarry up front. He'd won the World Cup and the Euros with France, and then he ends up in Birmingham.
I mean, Everton had Olivier Dacour for a season.
Olivier Dacour. Everton had some good ones. As well.
Marco Materazzi, later of headbutt fame.
Yeah, that was before he was famous.
Yeah, he got sent off more. He played for us for a season and got sent off twice, which I think is a record for an Everton player in the first season.
Fulham had some handy players as well. Like they had Van der Sar in goal.
Yeah.
Louis Saha.
Bronk in midfield. Sahara up front. They had a guy called Maurice Volts at right back.
Volts, yeah.
Oh, no, don't
Brian
know.
McBride up front, US legend.
Brian McBride, Everton hero, Brian McBride.
I thought that was Andy Johnson.
Ah, Andy Johnson. What a guy.
Didn't Andy Johnson score like over 20 goals in the Premier League once?
For Palace, yeah. But yeah. I loved Andy Johnson. He's one of my
caps as well.
He's one of my favourite Everton strikers. We had the best obscure strikers. We had Andy Johnson, James Beattie, Yakubu, Louis Saha, all in a row, and none of them scored more than 20 goals in a season for us. Yakubu might have done it once, actually. Yakubu did it once.
Beckford's the one.
Beckford, Marcus Bent, not Darren Bent, Marcus Bent. We bought the wrong Bent.
Here's the one that gets me, and I can never understand how this happened, but Stuart Downing has 35 caps for England.
We needed someone on the wing.
We needed a left winger in 2007.
We needed a left winger, yeah.
And Aaron Lennon only wanted to play on the right.
Yeah.
we had a plethora of right wingers then, because we had Lennon, we had Wright Phillips. Beckham obviously was still knocking around, yeah.
I tell you what though, Downing is an underrated player because he's still knocking around for Blackburn play this season.
Someone who I always
still got it.
Someone who I always really admired was Peter Whittingham.
Oh yeah, God rest him.
I always thought Whittingham was better than the clubs that he played for.
Went to school in Coventry as well.
Did he?
Yeah. Went to Martin and I went to the same school, and Peter Whittingham went to the other one.
Oh, well, that's bad. Look, I went to the same school as Danny Welbeck. I have to plug that because my sister sat next to him in a couple of lessons. Not obscure in the slightest, but still need to plug it.
Yeah,
Welbeck, to be fair, he went to Watford and has done nothing at all.
He's been injured, surprisingly.
Yeah, he's at
I
Watford.
didn't even know he was there.
And I was in the year above Bamford at school.
Patrick.
For the Bamford for England.
That's why Josh mentioned him and then suddenly had the money to go to America. Moving on, Martin, your quiz has taken another turn, and hopefully this week it's a little less agonising for all of us.
I'm excited for this.
Garrett's made himself an FA Cup style draw for this one as well.
It's all laid up in front of me.
I hope people are still watching.
You know what? Gareth's getting an extra 10 points for making the effort. Not really, Gareth, sorry.
Oh, I needed those 10 points.
If it's a draw at the end and you're enjoying it first, you get the win.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, there we go.
I'll take that.
Okay, so we've got this week, building on the emojis, we've got a round called Name That Goalscorer. So I set you all the challenge last week of coming up with the highest ever Premier League goal scorers by surname for each letter of the alphabet, for A through to Z.
Yep.
How'd you get on?
I've got answers for all 26. Not sure on all of them. Some of them are definitely a joke, but I've got answers for them.
I've got a couple of gaps, but I know that I can come up with guesses for them. So I'll see how this goes.
Okay. Josh, how did you find it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got answers for all 26. I definitely don't have all 26 right, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, shall we just go letter by letter then? See how you go on?
Yes.
Starting with A, is it really a contest?
Yeah, Aguero.
Aguero!
Yeah, he's about 27 O's on the end of it.
I have gone for Aguero,
I didn't have space for that.
but I thought about it. I did consider Anelka, but I went for Aguero.
Oh, it's good that you went for Aguero.
It was never going to be Anelka. The other day, Aguero became the highest, behind Henry. He overtook Henry, didn't he? So it was always going to be.
Well, I mean, but Anelka,
Sorry.
Anelka was in the Premier League for a long time there, and he was prolific, so it's not a ridiculous shout.
It's not the worst suggestion in the world, but Nicholas Anelka, formerly of West Bromwich Albion. I don't know how we ever pulled that one off. I don't ever know how that happened.
Wait till we get to Samuel Eto'o, formerly of Everton.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you see.
So it is Aguero then.
It is
It is.
Aguero. 1 point for everyone.
Hey.
Well, Charlie didn't give his answer.
Did I said Aguero?
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
You're too busy going like this.
Sorry.
B.
Am I going to have to do this for everyone? Because
Yes.
I'll get some of these wrong.
Okay,
It's Bergkamp.
I had
Bergkamp.
I had Bergkamp as well.
I've gone for Darren Bent.
And Josh gets the point.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Josh.
Nice little Sand People celebration from him in there as well. May the 4th be with you this week.
Indeed.
Sorry.
But Bergkamp scored better goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bergkamp scored better goals.
What is that? What is that? How close is that, by the way?
I could make it up.
Okay, he hasn't done his research. Got to be close. It's got to be close.
Must be close. Well, Bergkamp wasn't prolific though, was he?
No, but that was why I didn't go for Bergkamp. I thought he was more a creator than a goal scorer. And I also considered Bellamy. Then I realised he was injured all the time.
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, Ben carried a couple of teams, didn't he? Charlton, Sunderland.
That's
Derby.
a fair point. When you think about it, he had more of relegation scraps, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
helps a bit more.
Okay, C.
Yeah, I've got Andy Cole. I haven't copied Gareth, I promise. I'm not just.
Andy
maybe
Cole.
Maybe I should go first one of these times. But yeah, I've got Andy Cole as well.
Yeah, Andy Cole.
Andy Cole, point for everyone.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Martin's keeping score of this.
I am. We can always go back and listen again. How about D?
I'll let someone else go first this time.
Charlie?
Jermaine Defoe.
Okay.
I promise we're not copying each other here, but that is Jermaine Defoe as well.
Okay, I've got a different answer. I've got Didier Drogba.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
thought about Drogba. But
That's a great shout, Josh. But it's Jermaine Defoe.
Hey.
you think Defoe played in the Premier League for about 20 years with, was it about 4 or 5 different clubs?
And he was still knocking around until very recently with Bournemouth. Which
Yeah, because he was at West
I think he's
Ham,
at Rangers
Tottenham,
Yeah, he might be a Rangers now.
Portsmouth, Sunderland,
Mm.
and then he was at Bournemouth.
I'll be brutally honest. I completely forgot about Drogba. So when Josh said that, there was a moment of panic.
Which MLS team did Didier Drogba play for?
Oh, wow.
Played in the MLS. Who was it for? You'll never get it.
Seattle Sounders.
Nope.
DC United.
Nope. That was Rooney.
No.
You gonna have a stab at this one, Josh?
I want to say Montreal.
It was Montreal Impact. Well done.
Hey.
Well done for Google. Well done for Google there.
Yeah, he's.
Looking off screen, I can see what he's doing. Right. Let's
Okay.
keep going. Let's keep
Good
going.
on. E. This is a hard one.
Yeah. This is my first guess.
I'll go first for this,
Go on.
and I'm almost certain it's wrong, but Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, I've got Christian Eriksen as well. I
See-
know that's wrong because he said it's obscure.
I completely forgot about Ericsson. I was thinking about Man City and went for Elano.
Ooh, Elano.
No. Nobody
No.
got it.
What is it?
Got a clue. He played for Charlton.
Who?
Charlton.
Oh, Jason Ewell.
Yeah, Jason. Ross.
Yes.
That's got to be close between him and Eriksen.
Shout.
Yeah. it must
Jason
have-
Ewell, whatever happened to him?
What did happen to you all?
Let me Google that for you. Bear with
What
Corey.
happened to the whole Charlton team? They were pulling up trees, weren't they, under Kirbishley?
Matt
Yeah.
Holland.
Jason Ewell, ex-Jamaica international.
Don't, Josh.
Oh yeah, because he went to Southampton and then Blackpool. Ended his career at Wimbledon on loan.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen.
What, Wimbledon or
Good point.
right? Next,
F. Robbie Fowler.
yeah, Robbie Fowler.
I've got Fowler.
Had to be Fowler, yeah. Point for everyone. G?
As much as it pains me to admit. Stevie G.
Oh, I've got a different one.
Oh.
I'm playing the longevity card. I thought Ryan Giggs.
All right. I agree with Gareth.
You would be correct.
Mm.
Fowler.
Always the ones you don't want it to be.
H?
Let's just skip through, H. Surely
Yeah,
we've got
Thierry Henry.
H.
Yeah.
I'll just prove it quickly. There we go. Yeah.
I?
Where is I? Anyone want to go?
I've gone for the one player I could think of beginning with I, and that's Igalo.
Oh.
Because he had that good season at Watford.
You did?
Josh?
Okay, This was one I wasn't sure about, but I've gone for Paul Ince.
I considered
It's a
Danny
shame.
Ings and then rested on Paul Ince.
All Ince.
Again, it's a point for Gareth and Josh.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be a Garlo, but
I can just remember because he had the really good season at Watford, then went to China, and then has come back, hasn't he?
I think his most prolific season was in the Championship for Watford.
Oh, right. Have I got my years mixed up?
And they were unreal.
I'm perfectly happy admitting I'm not an expert on Watford history.
let's make you one.
Yeah, that can be my goal for the next week.
Does Welbeck play for Watford?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to Jay.
See, he's been mentioned already. This is a hell of a hunch, and I questioned it, but Andy Johnson,
Oh, no.
because of that season for Crystal Palace,
Oh, it probably is now.
and because I love him. I absolutely love Andy Johnson. Not got a bad word to say about him. Had to include him.
Everyone go for Johnson? Or
Before we started this, Jay was one of the ones I had an empty space for, so I came up with an answer just as we came on, and I had Matt Jansen.
Oh, not much.
But I'm clutching with that.
Now that Gareth said Johnson, that's almost certainly the right one. But the one I had down, I had to have an ex-Forest one, Jermaine Genius.
Jesus.
Oh,
It's
fair.
Andy Johnson.
Yes.
Oh,
I quit that. Oh, yes. Thank you, you bald legend.
This is looking like a game changer, to be fair.
I was quite confident, quietly confident with this one.
Okay, Kay.
Isn't it obvious, Kay?
That's an obvious one, isn't it?
I presume.
I mean, not necessarily, because it could be Robbie Keane, but I did go for Kane.
I went for Robbie Keane.
I went for Kane.
I went for Robbie Keane. I thought that was obviously Keane.
Gareth is on.
Yes. I didn't think Kane had been there long enough. Robbie Keane, longevity, people.
Yeah, that's what you've got to go for. Well, for some of them are a little bit different, but we'll see. Okay, Al. Everyone knows that, surely.
Yeah, that is manager at the moment, surely.
Is it?
Frank Lampard, yeah.
Frank Lampard.
Josh?
Well, I mean, if Gareth says so, I'm glad that Gareth says so, because that's what I...
It's a point for everyone, indeed. Yeah, Frank Lampard. Nice. Highest scoring midfielder ever in the Premier League, no?
Really?
Like
Is
that,
he
I
more
think.
than Gerrard? Yeah, I suppose he would be.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Okay, M.
Oh, that's W. Don't do that. That's the wrong way around.
M was another one I had an empty space for.
Go on, Charlie.
Go on, Charlie.
I'm just going to guess Mane because I can't think of anyone else beginning with M.
Funnily enough, this is the first of my jokes after last week's podcast. Sad lion himself, Sadio Mane.
That's not a bad shout. I've gone, and again, you could be wrong, Steve McManaman.
Ooh.
It's not a bad shout.
Ooh. I'm sure it's close, but it is Sad Lion.
Sad lion. I should have gone with Darren Bent. I think this would have been a clean sweep so far.
Yeah.
I know the next one's wrong if it helps.
You didn't get Jason Ewell.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, we ignore E because you told us E was hard. So we don't think about that one.
Okay, on to N.
I couldn't think of anyone for N. Football has deserted me.
Yeah.
And what I came up with was Alex Niarco.
Oh, wow.
Because I thought, we're going to talk about obscure noughties footballers. He is the most obscure noughties footballer. I know it's wrong, but I had to get Alex Niarco in there somewhere.
Charles Nzogbia.
Charles
Oh,
Nzogbia.
nice shout, yeah.
I've gone for another one that's so 3 out of 3 different. Nanny.
All incorrect.
All incorrect. Well,
They're good, but they're wrong.
W is the team we've been talking about from the 2000s, which included their 3 behind the striker, Akocha, Djorkaeff, and
Played up front for Bolton.
not played up front,
They just played in that team.
Nolan.
Kevin Nolan.
Kevin Nolan.
On.
Oh. Now, when you say Bolton, it's obvious, but he's not someone who springs to mind.
Just the celebration that he did that pissed everybody off was there. Oh, come on, let's just skip this.
I think this is an obvious one.
Owen.
Yeah, Michael Owen.
Owen.
Yeah,
There you go.
just proof.
P?
You see, what's everyone got for P?
Go on, Josh.
I went for Robert Pires.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I had Kevin Phillips.
I didn't know where you were going to put him, so I put Robin van Persie because technically by Dutch names, P is the correct surname.
Okay,
I think.
I have Van Persie for V.
And Garrett's been on Wikipedia, so he knows that's how it goes.
I think with I think with Dutch surnames, if the V is a capital, V is the surname. If it's not, P is. I will be honest though, I've also got Van Persie for V because I'm hedging my bets here.
That's good because it's not Van Persie.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
okay.
fine.
It's Kevin Phillips.
Yes!
Oh, well played.
Charlie.
You get the Golden Boot one year, like 2001 or something. Should have been. Well, I think he did. He was in the England squad for the World Cup. Sure, he was.
He went to Euro 2000, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely had a few England caps. Played for West Brom and Leicester
He did.
and Birmingham.
I
Played for
like
everyone,
Midlands.
hasn't he? Actually, Kevin Phillips.
And then he's coach at Derby now, I think,
I
isn't he?
think he is. Yeah.
I heard, yeah. How about Q?
I had Niall Quinn.
Yeah, I had Niall Quinn. It was the only player with a Q I could think of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right. I went for Quaresma, but yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I mean, that's not a bad shout. But
What has Quaresma played for in the Premier League?
Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah.
Only for a season, was it? Was it?
He was on loan or something.
Alongside legends such as Baswingwa.
Masingwa, yeah.
Then went to QPR.
And Mo Salah at some point.
Yeah. That was the Stevie G. Slip moment. Mo Salah was in that Chelsea side.
He was. He was. Yeah, it's a point for Charlie and Gareth. Sorry, Josh. R?
Oh, you'll like this one, Gareth. This is one of yours.
Go on.
Rooney, isn't it?
It is Wayne Rooney. That's what I've got.
Rooney.
Absolutely a point for everyone. Nice. Rooney, no contest, I think. S?
Shearer.
This is, yeah.
I'm
this
just
is
gonna
the most
just gonna
obvious one.
say it.
Shearer.
Yeah, Alan Shearer.
Of course, yeah, point for everyone. Who would you have second?
What, for S or in
I
general?
wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
It's not Mo Salah, is it?
I don't know. I would say
It could be Sheringham or
Sheringham, I think.
Sheringham, yeah, it could be Sheringham, yeah.
T?
T. Okay.
I struggled with T.
Yeah,
I
did
really
not.
struggled with T.
Mm.
What did everyone come up with?
I went for Yaya Toure
Oh, yeah,
because he had that. He had that one really good season where he just kept sort of going forward and putting the ball in the net. Which is how football works, apparently.
Torres.
Torres was also who I landed on.
Yeah, Torres only had 2 good seasons though. He didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Torres
but-
had one good season.
But from an Everton point of view, whenever I have very painful memories from playing Liverpool and having Torres up front.
Mm.
So,
Charlie, please keep justifying why Torres is wrong.
Well,
I'm guessing he's right.
I guess he is probably. Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah. All right. Fine. I completely.
I think Torres
I'll
is
accept that
good
one.
though.
I'll
Torres,
accept that one.
And Torres scored some amazing goals. I remember, the way that he struck a ball was just real. How about you?
You.
I
This is an
figured
empty
that
one.
I figured there'd be a defender, and I've done too many
I know where
Liverpool
he's going.
players.
I know where he's
He
going.
took a lot of penalties. David Unsworth.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think of someone beginning with you now because it is an empty space for me, and I might
He's
get
going to
this.
say Unsworth now.
Well, I'm not going to. No. Come back to me. I'm trying to think.
Well, I've got a different one. Leonardo Ajoa.
Ajoa didn't score that much in the Premier League, did he?
He had a half decent season. I mean, honestly, it was more like I couldn't think of anyone else. But he did have a decent season for Leicester.
I don't remember Ajoa being that good. That's why when it came to you, I thought, well, Unsworth took a lot of penalties. He has a great record from a spot for Everton. I thought, yeah, it had to be him. But I might be wrong.
Charlie.
I can't think of anyone. I'm just gonna. Can I piggyback on Gareth and take Unsworth?
No.
No. Okay.
Mainly because
It's wrong.
it's the right answer.
Oh, yes! No way is Unsworth the right
You
answer.
just broke my headset.
Sorry, Charlie. Sorry. I did not like. I've taken some real stabs here. That was inspired.
Yes. How about V?
Well, we know mine's Robin van Persie.
Yeah, I had Van Persie.
Just to prove.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, V was actually the one I found most difficult because there's Vardy, Van Nistelrooy, but in the end, I did go for Van Persie.
Absolutely, Robin van Persie, spot on. Yeah, point for everyone. W?
Bit of an older name, this one I've got. Played for Arsenal, Ian Wright.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I had. I know.
And yeah, me as well.
Good, yeah, point for everyone again. Nice.
That's good.
X.
Right.
No idea.
I think I
No
have
idea.
this. I think I have this.
Okay.
By virtue
go
of
for
him
it.
being the only player I could think of beginning with X. Played for Everton.
Who've you got?
Abel Xavier.
Also, who I've got?
Because he's
Yes,
the only player
Charlie.
that began with X.
I thought I'd be the only one with Xavier.
But with
It's
that
not right,
head,
is it? It's not.
It's going to be wrong.
Look at his face. It's not right.
But I tell you who the real answer is. The real answer is Xhaka.
Is
Is it?
Xhaka, yeah?
See, I
Okay.
considered Xhaka, but then I remembered that in the first episode of this, I named him as the player who'd had the most passes without an assist. So I then couldn't say that he was the top scorer X player.
And I've just realised that there was a striker for Newcastle called Isco as well that began with X, and it could have been him as well.
From Deportivo. That's a great show.
It's Apple Xavier.
Xhaka's got a great shot on him, though.
He does.
Better than Apple Xavier, to be fair.
How many did Xavier score? Did he even score?
I think he might have scored one.
I don't know. One might have been enough for X.
I'm
though,
gonna
as far
check.
as we
Yeah, I'm
know.
gonna check this now.
Off the beard, probably. I remember his beard.
And the bleached blonde hair. Last player to move between the Merseyside clubs.
Was he? Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He played for Liverpool,
Yeah.
didn't he?
He moved straight from Everton to Liverpool.
And then played for
I'm
Middle.
not saying anything.
played for
We're
Middlesbrough as well.
recording.
In the league, Abel Xavier played 3 times and scored 0 goals.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that was a terrible shout.
No, that's a lie. I was looking at League Cup. No, he did. He played 14 times for Liverpool and scored 1 goal. Didn't score a single competitive goal for Everton.
Sounds about right.
And scored 1 goal for Middlesbrough as well.
Okay.
Xhaka can't have much more than 2.
No,
I'd say it's over 10.
Really?
I'm not looking it up.
I mean,
Maybe not. He has got a cracking shot on him. And he takes
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Xhaka had a few.
Oh, go on, I'll look it up. I'm looking it up. Hang on.
You can get there first. 7.
Clubs. Is it 7?
7.
Yes, 7. 7 in 4 seasons.
121 appearances, 7 goals.
Xavier. Come on, guys. Jeez.
At least it shows we were close. It shows we were
exactly.
close.
I like your ingenuity. I like it.
I'm going to check Isco now.
Why?
Go on, Josh. You can go first for this one.
Dwight York.
Yeah.
Also, who I had. I
Yeah,
think that's
same.
Full House, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Point for everyone. Yeah.
Surely it's Full House for Zed as well.
Is it?
Is it?
Oh, okay. I thought I had an obvious
Go first.
answer. Maybe
Go
not.
Go first then.
Gianfranco Zola.
Oh.
Is that not obvious?
Well,
Does
it
that
is
show the
now.
time?
Well, it
Why,
is now.
who's everyone else gone for?
I couldn't think of a Z, so I kind of thought of the only player I could think of who had a Z, and he played right back for West Brom, Gianni Zyverlin.
Oh, wow.
Another letter. Come on.
Zavaleta's another right.
Oh,
Josh, who have you got?
there it goes. I agree with Gareth. I got Zola.
Thank you. It was obvious.
I missed that one then, clearly.
Charlie's obviously too young for this quiz.
No one want to go for Simone Zaza? No?
I mean, rumours
You're
are
only
his
saying that
penalties still coming down.
You're only saying that with your Valencia shirt on.
Yes. Yeah, it's a point for Gareth and Josh.
Yes, Josh.
There you
Come
go.
on, Charlie.
I get the feeling
I'm
I didn't
disappointed
win
with
this.
you. That
I get the feeling I didn't
I
win
think I
this.
did really well.
Well,
Where did
come on.
that come from?
2 minutes. I'm going to calculate how you've got on.
Right, well,
Last two rounds
while
have
he's-
been really good.
while he's working out then how we've all done, shall we talk about what's coming up in the next 7 days for us until we
This
meet
is
again?
this is quite an exciting week, I think, because this is the week where it's kind of like wife swap but with clubs. So it's club swap. So we're having a club swap week. Me and Josh are swapping clubs. He's continuing his guilty pleasures article with an Everton article. I'm going to write about Exeter. Charlie's taking on Nottingham Forest and his memories of the City Ground, and Martin's doing West Brom. Anyone got anything to add about them?
I suspect that Martin's article is going to be the shortest one ever, based on the running joke that one year for my birthday, Martin got me West Brom's Greatest Games book, and my girlfriend turned around and went, "That'll be a short book then."
I'm surprised they actually gave you a present, because Martin's usual ploy would be to say he's going to get you this book and then it actually doesn't exist.
Oh no, he usually just gets me one drink about 8 months later, because I still owed you for that, didn't I?
Fireball in Weatherspoons.
He's usually a shot of Fireball in and Nottingham Weatherspoons, yeah.
Has anyone got anything to talk about the articles they put up this week?
I really enjoyed Charlie's.
I
thought Charlie's was fantastic.
I could have carried on. There will be more about that tournament just because of the sheer. Like, I finished writing it and I put it up, and then I went, "Oh God, I never even talked about this." So there's a lot more to come from that, I suspect.
But I have to say, Josh's article has. I'm going to get it up for everyone because it's produced the quote of the week. So if you follow us on Instagram, what I'm doing is at the end, when every article comes up, we're putting a quote up. I'm highlighting my favourite quotes from the articles. And I'm enjoying this because we come up with some crackers as our writers, but Josh has come up with the absolute best.
Is this what I think it is? Because I don't have Instagram.
Okay, here we go. Right. Den Haag fill their stadium and have the best part of 15,000 Dutchmen crammed into a confined space made for memorable experience. The atmosphere was raucous, the stench of weed ubiquitous. Fans thought nothing of using the stairs as an extension of the terrace, meaning that to reach the toilet, you had to fight your way past dozens of very stoned Dutchmen.
Which is how it should be.
It was.
I think our writing has peaked. I don't think we're going to get any better than that, people.
It was certainly a memorable experience, and hopefully that writing conveyed to anyone reading it just what a memorable experience it was.
That's very different to our experience in Eindhoven, Charlie. Wow.
Well, yeah, because we got.
Were you the
lost
stoned Dutchman?
No, we got searched.
We did get searched.
We got searched, and we weren't allowed to take. Well, it was funny. They just confiscated the most minute things. I wasn't allowed to take a thing of deodorant and my battery pack in. It's like, yeah, you could use this as explosives. How? It was a roll-on deodorant. How was I going to be using that as any kind of explosive?
But in the week that we're talking about Dutch football and Den Haag, we've got to give Alan Pardew a mention.
Everyone's favourite.
Yeah, did a good job at Albion. Like they weren't relegated.
Did a cracking job at Den Haag as well. Not really.
They weren't
Relegate
relegated
them either, no.
I also loved it. You need to read Josh's article because it's full of very Joshisms, as we like to say.
Yeah, you can tell immediately it was written by him.
Absolutely. There'd be no doubt that anyone else would write that. And in his very first paragraph, he's not a Den Haag fan, but he says that to all the fans of the teams that might have come up, he didn't care about their sadness. He was delighted that Den Haag were staying up.
Josh is a plastic Den Haag fan.
He is, absolutely. Those two are definitely worth reading. I think they were the only two that went up this week, weren't they?
No, I had another one up about women's football. And
you took that up on the weekend, didn't you?
Yes. I thought that was just before. Do you want to talk about that, Josh? Quick word.
Yeah. So it's essentially, I made the case for saying that we've talked a bit about the Premier League and football coming back. But it's important when we're doing that we don't neglect the women's game because it's growing all the time. And quite frankly, it's had 100 years of not being treated as well as it should have been. And we need to make sure that we don't ignore it. Otherwise, we're going to lose an awful lot of clubs and the game as a whole is going to be poorer.
Brilliant. Give that a read. Check it out.
Good piece.
Martin, results time.
So, Josh, out of 26, you got 16. Takes you on to 34 points overall. 18 from the last couple of rounds. Charlie, 15.
That's not bad.
The bubble has burst.
I'll take 15.
It takes you on to 44 points. Still a very...
That's good.
Yeah.
Gareth has been on Wikipedia.
21, yes. No Wikipedia, I promise. There was no cheating in that.
And to be fair, you were the only one who revealed your answers on paper, so you know. Yeah. And you go on to 48 points.
Oh, yes, in the lead.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. We're
Yeah, I
down
mean,
to the last.
Well,
What
you
have
know, I mean, you prepared, so you won. That's how it works.
Next week, what we're going to have is each player is going to get 2 questions relating to their club.
You see, I'm worried for next week. I'm really worried for next week.
So am I.
Yeah.
Anyway, if they get the answer right, they get 2 points. But it's also asked to their opponents, and if they get their away question right, they get 4 points for that question.
You see, I think this will be Josh's round. I think this is where Josh is going to steam ahead of both me and Charlie. Because we know full well that if Charlie and I get something wrong about West Brom or Everton, Josh is going to know the answer.
Do we get any kind of sort of range of what these questions might be? Or could it be anything from who scored the winner in the cup final to what's the price of a Balti pie?
Let's see. It's
Because that answers £4.10 at the Hawthorns, and it's quite a lot.
2 points for Charlie.
Yes, I'm up to 46.
the questions are from 2000 onwards.
2000.
Okay.
So.
So you
Okay,
should,
that could be
you
good.
should have a good knowledge. I might throw a wild card in there. Could we come to some kind of consensus on clubs that each of you hate? Like just one club that you just really don't like. Not Liverpool.
Yeah, I was going to say, not Liverpool. Oh no, not Tottenham anymore. I hated them under Redknapp, but that's gone now. Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think for religious reasons it has to be Villa as well.
I mean, I don't have anything particularly against Villa, but I'm happy to go along with it.
We'll have an Aston Villa bonus round. The Aston Villa bonus round.
Let's make it a bit interesting. Each question in the Villa round, you would get 4 points if you got the right answer.
4 points.
You see, that's where I've got to do the research this week.
Okay.
That's where I've got to prepare.
Nice.
So, in the next 7 days, then, you have 4 articles to look forward to, each of us talking about each other's clubs. And then we have Martin's world famous quiz, us trying to remember our own club's history as we feverishly look on Wikipedia at Aston Villa's last 20 years as well. So, anything else before we let Martin go off for his tea?
I believe it's me hosting next week.
It is you hosting next week. So, this
so preparation time for you guys. I've got a nice little... I know this is a COVID-free zone today, and I do, but we have to mention we're in lockdown, and a lot of things that happened are squad building challenges on Twitter. A lot of people have been doing these squad building challenges. I want to have a go at this. So we've got 4 different players here, 4 different teams. So let's build 2 sides of 11. One of them is British-born players. That's England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, not Republic of Ireland. And the other one is foreign players. Josh, you might struggle with this, so we'll work on the rules over the week. And then we're going to see who each of us thinks in those teams who would win in a match.
Okay. So we've got 2 teams of 11 to put together.
It's Premier League.
No, it's your club. So Exeter, you take Exeter. So Charlie's West Brom, Martin's Nottingham Forest, and they face off against each other, and we'll see who wins, the Brits or the foreigners.
Oh, nice.
I like the sound of this one. Okay, this could be fun.
What's that?
Republic of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland counts as foreigners.
Counts as foreign, okay.
Which I mainly did because otherwise Seamus Coleman would walk into the British side, and that felt a bit... Yeah. Josh, I accept that Exeter might not have that many foreign stars, so if you find it's better to do England and then against everyone who's not English, that could work.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah.
And with that, episode 3 of the We Only Sing When We're Winning podcast draws to a close. If you have been, thank you for watching, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.